Going into this new season, there are a lot of players that have high expectations to perform well and lead their teams, but how about we look at some of the players that don't have such high expectations that I believe will break out this season. In this video, I'll be looking at 4 second year players that I think will have a phenomenal sophomore season and will cement themselves as potential franchise players or complementary pieces to their stars on their teams. But before I get into this, remember to like and subscribe to this channel. The first player that I think is going to have a breakout season this year is Bol Bol. In last season's draft, Bol Bol was drafted with the 44th pick to Miami Heat, but was traded on draft night to the Denver Nuggets, and that is something we should all be grateful for, because with the culture of the Miami Heat, alongside Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and all the other players on this roster, they would have been a seriously scary team. If you've watched any of Bol Bol's games, you would know that he has scary potential, and if utilised correctly, he could be unstoppable. Bol Bol is a 7'2" guy with a 7'8" wingspan and a 9'6" standing reach. Bol Bol's wingspan is the second largest in the league, only less than Taco Fall, but unlike Taco, Bol Bol can keep up with wings and even some guards. But while he has incredible genetics, that isn't even the craziest thing about him. Even though Bol Bol is so tall and lanky, he actually plays the small forward position. Most tall players don't have nearly as much skill as your typical guard, but Bol Bol combines both these things in a way that only few players in the league have. These players, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Kristaps Porzingis. This puts Bol Bol in a very esteemed category. He's a really tall guy who can bring the ball up the court and handle it. He can pull up from 3 and he can drive through the lane. These guys that I mentioned don't really have the greatest defense, and that is where Bol Bol really shines. Even with all his offensive weapons, the defensive side is where Bol Bol's potential is the highest. Due to his massive wingspan, Bol Bol can guard nearly anyone, something he showed during the last bubble. During the scrimmage games, Bol Bol showed his potential where he could be a couple of feet away from the player he was guarding and he still blocked them. Given the fact that Bol Bol just signed a new full-time contract with the Nuggets, and he should be getting good minutes and have the chance to really break out. Over the past couple of days, a name has been going around the league a lot, and that guy is Talen Horton-Tucker. Talen is a 6'4" guard with a 7'1" wingspan who was drafted with the 46th overall pick in the 2019 draft. His immense strength allows him to drive to the basket no matter who is guarding him, and he has an outside jump shot good enough that if you sag off him just a bit, he will punish you. Talen's talent is quite extraordinary, to the point where, in one of the preseason games the Lakers played against the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard asked how old he was, and when he heard he was only 20, he was astonished. Horton-Tucker didn't play too much last season, but in the few games he did play, he really showed out in limited minutes. In the 2 games that he played against Houston in the second round, he averaged 7 points, 3 rebounds, and a steal. However, while these stats don't seem amazing, if you look further into them, they are quite astonishing. Throughout these 2 games, Talen was only playing 8 minutes a game, and when you convert these into per 36 minutes, his stats are much more impressive. Per 36 minutes, Talen was putting up 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 steals a game. And while you may be thinking that these are just typical per 36 stats, making the player look much better than they actually are, in the 2 preseason games he has played so far, he's put up even better stats than those per 36 ones in the playoffs. Across the 2 games, he's averaged 26 points, 9.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3.5 steals on 50% shooting. And it isn't just these stats that he's putting up. Derek Fisher has said that
this young man can really play basketball, and I think it's catching everybody off guard because we didn't get to see him a lot last year. This dude worked.
Yeah.
The offseason was different, right? Like the season got disrupted in March.
He worked.
So that 3 or 4 month period he worked, and it showed in the bubble when he did get minutes. Right? Now we've had a couple more months and he has still been working and is showing.
Yeah, I'm glad.
this is high praise from a 5-time champion that has played with the likes of Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James also recently tweeted out a couple of days ago that, "Telling you right now, this kid is flat out special, mark my words." This is an even higher praise coming from his teammate, and he should be getting more playing time this year than last. and I think that this will be his breakout season. Even though he got quite a lot of playing time last year, with both Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson out for the season, Jordan Poole had quite a disappointing season, averaging 9 points and 2 assists on an effective field goal percentage of only 40%, the lowest in the league. And you may be thinking, if you put up such bad stats, then why do you think he will have a breakout season this year? However, Jordan Poole has been putting in an insane amount of work over the offseason and has earned the praise of his head coach, Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I think of all the young guys, Jordan probably stood out the most in terms of the improvement that we saw during camp from the regular season. And it makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, he's been here in the building working for the last 4 months pretty much every day. So all that work has paid off. You know, he looks great. Played well in the scrimmage, has played well in every drill. He's starting to understand what we're asking of him and what he's capable of doing and what he should avoid doing. And that's actually a big step in becoming an efficient player.
As well as all the work that he put in over the offseason, Poole actually ended out last season surprisingly well. Even though he didn't have a great season last year, Jordan actually finished the season well, averaging 15 points and 4 assists between February the 5th and March the 10th, a big step up from the start of the season. One of Jordan Poole's biggest struggles was his 3-point shooting, where he shot an abysmal 28% from deep. However, Poole seems to have worked on his shot, and it looks a lot smoother than it was last year. In his 15 minutes of play during the first game of the preseason, Jordan scored 10 points and got 2 assists on 100% efficiency, including hitting a 3-point shot. And while it is only one game, these are very positive signs for the young player. As well as that, the fact that Klay Thompson has been injured again means that Jordan Poole should continue to get good playing time and be given the opportunity to put up much better stats than last season. The combination of his improved stats at the end of last season and the work he put in over the offseason, the Warriors should be very excited to see what he can do in his second season. Darius Garland had a relatively disappointing rookie season for the 5th pick in the draft, but I think he'll be trying to prove himself worth such a high pick this year. Throughout his rookie season, Garland averaged 12 points and 4 assists in 31 minutes of play. Darius and Colin Sexton made a very small backcourt, and this had led to teams exposing them on the defensive side. But Garland has been looking to help stop that from happening as much over the offseason. According to inside sources inside Cleveland, Garland has been working hard with his father and brother and has reportedly put on 20 pounds of muscle and now weighs around 192 pounds. In addition to this, it has been reported by the Cavs that Garland was far and away the Cavs' best player in their off-season bubble. With the addition of Isaac Okoro, Garland should have to focus less on defense and more on his offensive output. As he has put on a lot of muscle, it should help him even more in getting to the basket and scoring. Due to all of these things, Garland looks set to have a breakout year this year and should have a much better season than his rookie one. So what do you guys think? Do you think that these players will break out this year, or do you think that there are others that will? Let me know down in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. Peace.